All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Talk About It Tuesday. And I'm here today with a good friend of ours and Brunswick national staffer, Ryan Shafer. And then unfortunately, I'm also have Joe Plusik that showed up in my house here. So I felt like we could at least let him have some FaceTime on here. But all three of us being good friends, I think it'll be a good one here. But before we say hi to Ryan, I always love to go over some of the accolades and to everyone out there. Obviously, Ryan's career has been a phenomenal career. 56 shows, national shows, which is silly. 5 national titles on there. He was 87 Rookie of the Year, 2-time Steve Nagy Award winner. He has 2.5 300s, which we joke about. Two naturals and then a Baker one in there. So we'll call that a half or 3. And then when you look on the regional side of it, 3-time Player of the Year, still competing on both the youth and the Raisin Tour at this point, and has 32 titles with his most recent one, which was my favorite regional title he's ever won because he won it with my other half. So it was pretty awesome to watch. So Ryan, thanks for joining us today. How we doing?
Good. How are you guys doing? I see the squatters there. So
yeah, we're
nomad. I'm a nomad.
Yeah, nomad's going around here. He's trying to take over from Patrick and his title over. So nomad's going to float around here. I happen to have as you know, have a small little center. So we're closing the doors, trying to stay fresh here as we prepare for some upcoming events, and we'll probably touch on some of those because I know, Ryan, you plan on bowling pretty much the same ones we are. So, but first and foremost, we're here to talk about we had some pretty exciting release here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Brunswick Knockout, which is going to be coming out in January. And before we kind of go into your first impressions on it, we like to go over the tech side of it, for anyone out there. But this isn't new. This is a melee core that's in this bowling ball, 2487-050 diff, Savvy Hook 3.0 solid cover stock, which has dynamic core. And the easiest way to explain this ball is this is a solid version of the jab, all right, or solid version of altercation of the uppercut. So which were very good balls for us, and the melee core being kind of a mainstay in our lines. I think it gives us a brand new look in this kind of price point that we haven't seen since back when we had the melee cross or the melee hook, which were solid versions with that melee core in there. So Ryan, I know you personally through your videos and some stuff you shared. You've gotten to throw this one a little bit so far. So why don't you give us kind of your first impressions and as a starting point?
Well, when I get a introduction ball from Brunswick, my first drilling is usually 40 by 4.5 by 70. That ends up being a pin down. I mean, as you guys know, I got a lot of tilt, so anything pin up is going to be like sideways, and it's hard to control for me unless it's on a specific condition. So that's my go-to drill with a new ball. I love the melee jab, blood red. In fact, that's what I use most of the time when I bowled with Kerry when we won in Connecticut. And this ball was much stronger than that ball. I mean, when I bowled with it, it was like maybe 7 and 4 left of the blood red, which I found amazing. But the thing that I saw out of it, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to throw it as much as I have, because I bowled a couple tournaments, local tournaments with it as well. I'm not going to say it gives an asymmetrical shape because it's not asymmetrical, but there's something about that cover that it comes off the spot more like an asim than a symmetrical. And that's kind of why I like it, because generally when you're drilling a pin down in a symmetrical ball, you can't put an extra hole in it anymore. So a lot of people don't want to do that anymore, especially like Mo preaches against that. But for me, I almost have to do it. But with that ball, it actually gives me that slight asymmetrical look without it being an asim.
Right. Which is, it's obviously it's different for every player. And I don't know that we gotten to throw it quite as much as you have. Was it 2-3 days ago? I think we finally got holes in these where they came in. We both drilled them over at my shop. I threw it for probably, I'd say maybe about a game and a half over the weekend on kind of a, Clift, supposed to be kind of a challenge shot, like a 7-1. And it was definitely Way stronger in the mid lane than, compared to a Blood Red, which is a really good ball for me as well. But I think almost goes along the lines of what you were saying is it had a more distinct shape when it saw the mids of the lane.
Right.
And the cover on it it's relatively soft. Like it feels like a soft cover, feels like it wants to dig in. But what I did notice about it, it's only a game and a half or 2 games, but it didn't lane shine at all.
Right.
And sometimes with those, solid cover bowling balls, especially the symmetrics and stuff like that, they tend to, want to shine up pretty quickly on us. And then they get a little long, and then we're doing surface preps and that. But this so far didn't have that effect for me at all.
I agree with that. I bowled over under with my wife this weekend, and that ball finally started to lane shine a little bit. And that's like the 4th time I've used it. But it was, and not to denigrate the Black Widow or the Incognito, but those balls lane shine a lot quicker for me than this ball.
Yeah.
The knockout just seems there's something there that it doesn't want to absorb the oil or lane shine as quick as the other balls.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I know, Joe, you didn't get to throw yours quite as much, but
a few shots.
A few shots with his, but he was the conditions we were bowling on was justifying more really for kind of even more cleaner covers, and you had to create some down lane motion to get it through the pins correctly in the building we were in. Time and a place, just like anything else. But I think this is truly is going to be one of those benchmark pieces where, for me personally, and maybe for you, Ryan, is we might end up using this ball to kind of figure the lane pattern out. Let's say we don't know it, or we're getting familiarized with the center we're in, or really trying to see how the pattern plays compared to what the piece of paper says it's supposed to play, to give us a baseline of front to back movements and left to right as well. It's predictable is the best way that I can explain that, and I know where it's going to see it on the lane.
You might see my one-eyed cat Gracie show up here.
That would be my. Evidently, guests are allowed here on the program. They just kind of pop in. Your cat might stay as long as he stays here, so it's fine. But she's just curious what Dad's doing. We all know, how much you love your cats over there, so they're part of the family, so they're more than welcome.
Yeah. Definitely the knockout is in my main bag. There's no question about it. That ball, and I think I actually have my zinc pearl in there too now. Just the way the lanes have been going in league, but those 2 balls are the first 2 balls out of my bag the last couple of weeks.
Right. And as we're talking to Ryan here, and like he said, it matches kind of a little bit. Ryan's first ball he drills a specific way, so he gets an understanding for how this bowling ball fits in his bag. Okay. And there we see a little bit in the top. So the cat in the background kind of look like a falls coming out your head. But it's the same thing we talk about with a lot of individuals that join us on the program here, which is to really understand, these arsenals are built by the manufacturers, and they kind of work them in where they're intended from. But when we get bowling balls for the first time, especially if we are going to draw maybe multiples of them, we generally drill our favorite layout that aesthetically matches our eye. And what Ryan was saying with his style, when he talks about having a high amount of tilt, obviously Ryan's hand, when we're talking about tilt, we're talking about how much his hand's going to basically go left or right. Ryan obviously doesn't have any issue getting the bowling ball through the front part of the lane, right? So he's doing that to kind of make sure the ball is slow enough that way when it sees friction, it isn't completely sideways.
Right.
And Ryan, I'm sure that was maybe a kind of a hard transition for you when they put in the effect of no holes, right? Definitely. Because at least with the no holes, you could get them to slow down and pop a hole in and kind of get it to burn off a little bit, or increase differential. I mean, you're not going to do that a lot, but we don't have that anymore. So now we're kind of going in, and if you watched last weekend when we had Phil on, we talked a lot about the ball designs that are coming out now to try and combat no holes with how we're making core designs to make them kind of react the same. Now, it may not be the same for you or I, but how has that transition been for you? Is it or have you kind of made big modifications to your layouts because of the no holes?
Like I said, that 40 by 4.5 by 70 has kind of been my go-to to try to help that situation.
Okay.
Because especially on an ASIM, it really puts the PSA out by my VAL. I mean, it really sends it out there. So it kind of simulates an extra hole. It's not exactly the same, but I started not using extra holes when the rule came out.
Me too.
I just felt like, I'm going to get ahead of it and fix the problem because, that was my way of getting the ball to slow down and read the mid lane. And, a lot of times I would use a ball with an extra hole on one lane and not on the other lane. They were very similar drillings, but one had a hole and one didn't.
Right.
Just to be able to play the same spot and have it read in the same spot. And I haven't been able to do that since that happened. But, I've had to work more with surfaces than I did in the past. But that drilling seems to be the closest reaction I can get with it.
Yeah. And I think, for myself, and maybe I'll ask Joe, I mean, Joe, what modifications have you kind of made to yours? I mean, obviously we're here, there's 3 guys in this feed right now, then we all have distinctly different styles. So it could be, as we're talking to everybody on the feed, it's different for how we approach this for each player. Okay. All being pro shop guys, all being guys that love to bowl and compete. I mean, what kind of modifications did you really make on yours, Joe?
Same kind of thing with when I went with the pin down on the ASIM bowling balls, putting the mass an inch past my VAL, simulated pin down, hole down type drilling.
Really getting that core to lay over on its side.
I never really used a lot of surface as much 5-6 years ago, and I've been using way more surface now. So I'm using more surface and I'm not using balance holes. So basically that's it. Yeah. I did have a question for Ryan though. This new bowling ball, where do you place this compared to the Hero Solid? Because I think that Hero Solid's a real strong cover too. And I just think it's well, let's see what you think.
For me, I mean, I drilled my Hero Solid. I can't remember what the numbers are, but the pin ended up over the middle finger, just a little left of over the middle finger. So it's going to have a little bit different reaction.
Yeah.
But the Knockout responds in the oil a little more than the Hero Solid does. Okay. But definitely, I mean, the Hero Solid for me was a way better ball than the Hero. Just the way the cover is and everything. Yeah.
I knew you liked that one more.
Yeah.
Right, which kind of makes sense. I mean, when you get in the original Hero that was in that line, I mean, that was a super clean cover. And when you're an individual that doesn't struggle to get it through the front part of the lane, then you're making some angles that, don't really equal striking, and it's, again, you got to adapt it for the player. So for everybody out there we're talking to, you got 3 shop guys on here that, this is an important aspect of it. We're on here talking a lot about, different bowling balls each and every week. And, they're all going to fit players differently. And the really important part about that is to get yourself, hooked up with a shop operator that's going to be able to really help you pick an arsenal that makes sense for you. And with the changes in rules and, technology coming out, to really understand layouts, because they vastly changed. They changed the way we do our jobs. One thing we said, and I think Joe will probably say the same thing, in the past, if we didn't like the way the ball was reacting, what do? We went and we popped a hole in it yep. to maybe make it more, more aesthetic to our eye. Well, you get one shot at it now, right? You don't have that ability to just go in there and, pop a hole in it and hope it's better. I mean, you can try some surface and things like that, but I'm going to be one of the first ones to tell you, gang out there, that not every ball is going to match either, right? So when you throw bowling balls, whether it's on tour or it's in your league, whether it's you're going out and having fun with your friends, right? And you want to understand your bowling balls, you want to really look at the bowling balls that roll well for you. And you want to kind of notate what those kind of the numbers, maybe what the core and the cover is on that ball, because you're pretty much going to have a pretty good idea that if another release comes out around that same realm, it may not be the sweet spot for your game. And again, that's what we're here to do. We want to make sure that you understand what's best for you. Right. Joe asked, kind of where this fits in your bag, and obviously we have 7 brands to choose from. It's crazy how much variety that we have in there. But one question we do like, Ryan, is you kind of said this is going to be in my main bag, if you will. So what is in your main bag right now? Like what's your arsenal looking like?
My main bag right now is my Zing Pearl, the Knockout, and my spare ball, of course.
Okay.
Probably in the secondary bag is the Blood Red Melee. My bonus, the solid bonus. I haven't got a chance to throw the Pearl yet. And what is the other one?
Tempo, maybe? I know you had a tempo in there for a while.
I had a tempo in there, but they've increased the volume. So that ball got used twice, and of course I had 840 with it, and that went away. It's shocking.
It's your fault.
Yeah, shocking. I know. What else is there? I had a Decree Pearl in there. I really liked that ball.
Right.
Can't think of what the other ball is in my bag. I had my Black Widow in there, and I really like what I like about that ball is I can get it to face up, but where I bowl league, I can't get it to strike. I can get it to strike if I go other places, but it just doesn't match up in the building.
Right.
That I bowl, and that happens sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We kind of talk about it. Like generally in leagues, I'm going to be throwing, a lot of these balls you're talking about are symmetrical based. Some of them being lower differential balls, which is the way I might attack a lot of the, the league patterns with, but again, last week I bowled in somebody else's house shot and I threw the new aerodynamics and ran them over with it. And that's not something I would normally throw in league. It's just, you have to match the bowling ball up to the environment you're bowling in. You don't have a lot of time to do it. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of practice time.
No.
So it's, hopefully you do your best juggling game before the lights come on. And sometimes it's going to work and sometimes you're going to be fishing a little bit. But,
we don't get to practice with pins. So, we bowl 5 minutes shadow. So, first ball out of the bag is the first ball out of the bag.
Do they take 2 shots in a row?
Huh?
Do they take 2 shots in a row? Like, do they shoot?
They don't do that crap. I wouldn't allow that anymore.
I don't understand.
It depends. Yeah, it depends. Like
with shadow too. We'll have really good.
We'll have 10 minutes of practice, and they want to throw a full frame. I'm like, you're waiting on the sweep. Just let somebody else bowl.
Right.
You're going to get more shots than that way. I promise.
You know where the head pin is? Just throw it there.
Yeah.
I go through that in pro-ams a lot.
It's
tough. I mean, first ball of your bag. Some pairs is going to strike, some pairs it's not. But generally, I have a ball that is opposite of that ball. The other ball in my bag is the Pandemonium. That's the ball I couldn't think of.
Oh, very good one. And how close is that? Right? And we always get into different balls, Ryan. But how close do you have that Pandemonium to maybe your Blood Red?
It's about 3 more.
3 more. Okay.
It's actually a little more.
A lot of pretty comparable in that same family, intention, things like that. And I think that's pretty much what you had it at as well.
Yeah.
I know you don't have the Blood Red, but you've thrown the purple jab, which we all agreed was cleaner and not as responsive as the red one. It just comes down to color.
Right.
But I want to make sure I didn't miss some big comments here. For everybody that's popping in, if you're saying hello, we're definitely not ignoring you. So Fusik, hope you're doing well, buddy. Del Picard, Chris Wilson jumping in. Vince, who's Manzetti? Who's that guy?
Who's the guy on the right?
Here's the guy on the right, Vince Manzetti. I don't know. Not really sure. So let's see here. We'll look at a couple comments here before we keep going down. So Raymond Benjamin's asking, is this a good fit for high rev, speed dominant bowler? I like what you guys are saying, and I think we could all probably answer that, in a different way. But Raymond, it's going to read the body of the lane. There's no doubt about that. The ball's not going to feel like it's going to scoot too much with the high speed. And the rev rate, the solid cover stock on this, if you have a high rev rate, is at least going to smooth that reaction out, whereas maybe something that is a hybrid or a pearl is going to be way quicker off the friction. This is going to help to slow it down a little bit. So, it's going to be a very good combination and something, me personally, I would put in a player with your stats that you're kind of explaining there.
I bowl league with Ray.
Okay.
And that would actually be a good in-between ball because he's got a Prism Warp hybrid.
Very good ball.
He's got the original Prism hybrid. And then he kind of goes down to the tempo.
Okay.
And he's got a couple other balls in there. But this would be a good symmetrical piece for him to kind of fit in there when the ace is just a little sharp off the spot.
Right.
He faces the same problems we do bowling league. They're you bowl Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and they're not real close night to night. and pair to pair in the building is the topography there is not as good as some other centers. So, depending on the pair, you bowl one night and the one ball looks good, and you come in the next night and it's like, it's not close. So that would be a good choice for him, actually.
Yeah, good. It sounds that way. I mean, you're obviously going to increase the differential in that ball. You're going from a tempo that's 030 diff, and lower end, you're going to go into bigger ball here, solid cover stock. So it sounds like a good gap filler, because those prisms you're throwing there, Ray, are really, really good. Some of the favorites still in my bag.
I mean, Ray's about 18 and a half miles an hour. And,
Okay.
and I mean, he gets it all. I mean, trust me. I mean, he gets a handful. So
To answer your message, Vince, yes, I bowl. I also drill bowling balls. I usually do more of the second one than the first one. So, all right. Looks like one came through for Joey since he's on here. What are your thoughts on the Radical equipment, especially for Joe?
Well, I've said it before. The bonus is my lane reader. The Incognito's my stronger down lane solid ASIM. I think the Incognito, being a big black bowling ball that's smooth, but it's sharp down the lane, and that's the name of the cover stock. Different response. We have variety in response to the friction. The Pandemonium, that's my long and stronger. Later, if we got a lot of games on the lane, the right side blows up, that ball's going to save it for the back of the lane. If I'm looking for down lane reaction, that's my ball. I haven't really thrown the Results Plus Pearl yet. We're going to drill that this week here. But my Results Solid, the blue and red one, is my earliest bowling ball. So that would be if they're really, really wet, that's my most textured solid.
So what would you compare? Like, we're talking about the Knockout. I mean, if for the Radical individuals out there that are looking, I mean, what ball in that realm kind of would match up or give them an idea on that side of it?
Probably close to a Squatch Solid.
Yeah.
Squatch Solid's the big sim. Hero Solid, Squatch Solid, they're the different brands version of that big solid symmetric ball. I think this bowling ball might be, like you said, a little bit better for the speed sensitive player that's going to throw it past it. It's probably going to burn off. Like Ryan said, it's more asymmetric looking coming off the back of the lane because of the way it burns off, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely so. I mean, I actually went to it, on that cliff pattern when we had to get into the left gutter, like past the left gutter, just to get it to it was enough cover to make it freeze in the right part of the lane, and didn't want something that was going to just, go quick, because you couldn't get the bowling ball to feed. Even though it was cliff, there wasn't a lot of volume in the middle part of the lane. So, I mean, I think that reiterates kind of what you're saying there as well.
True.
Frank Gray Jr. popping in here. Frank, hope you're doing well. It's a track staffer here, and asking Ryan his thoughts between the Jab Red and the Knockout, which we know Ryan has the Blood Red in the bag.
Yeah, like I said earlier, but to give you kind of a in-case basis, I bowled over-under with my wife this weekend, and I started with the Knockout, had a 299 game.
5-pin? You 5-pin?
Close. Ring 10.
/10.
When I'm bowling on a softer condition, I can't help myself. I always guard against getting 5 through the middle. I can't. I don't want to have 295 because I've had 294 before.
I had 95 last year.
Yeah, my tendency is to get it in a hair, and I ring a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had 220, and then I had 268 the last game. So we make the cut. We bowl Baker games, and you bowled Waverly before, Joe. You've won there.
Yeah, I like that place.
Yeah, you get a little too deep there, and all of a sudden you're not going to get the 10 out.
Right.
So I moved back to where I started with the Blood Red and struck. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you can do there. I mean, it's very unusual to be able to ball down in today's environment. But I could do it with those two. I could do it.
Nice. And it looks like your buddy, the lane man, Jimmy Pitts, he wants you to compare it to the Incognito, and that could be for either one of you guys, since you both have it in the bag.
I have it stronger than the Incognito. And I would say it's just because of the cover. I mean, it's pretty similar, but I've been preferring symmetrical balls over asymmetrical balls. But I think I would be kind of in the same part of the lane, just seeing it a little different front to back.
I definitely want to throw mine a little more on a few different patterns or different environments to really give an answer for that. But my incognito, the mass is like right next to the thumb, so it's almost in the thumb, so it's taking the asymmetry out of the ball.
Yeah, you're making that as close to symmetric as possible.
Right.
And a ball that I would say for the incognito as well, that is maybe the opposite of what Ryan's saying. This knockout acts like an asim. I feel like the incognito kind of acts more like a sim in an extent, from what I've seen out of it. I personally have not thrown it. I have one sitting at the center, I just haven't gotten to it. And, I think it's going to be, incognito. I think it's going to be a really good complement to that. And a widow, like a widow being a little cleaner, incognito a little earlier, it just tumbles a little different. And a lot of individuals popping on here asking for some comparisons as well. Christine Weber, she's on here as well, wants to know it. I'm assuming, Christine, you're asking about a bonus solid, which bonus solid has a super strong cover. It has a katana slash cover on it, but it has a lower differential core in it with 030. So stronger cover, weaker diff or weaker core, whereas the knockout is obviously the cover is relatively strong. Not as strong as that bonus cover, but you have a higher differential. So it's going to give you a different type of reaction when it sees the dry, if you will. I definitely think, and you guys, I don't know if you throw the regular bonus, Ryan, you said, I'm assuming your regular bonus with the stronger cover is probably earlier for you.
I can't necessarily say that. I think it's actually, it's kind of similar through the front, just from a different part of the lane.
Okay.
I have both balls decently clean. I don't have anything. I don't have either one hook it early, but obviously the core is going to determine that the knockouts. I'm just going to be farther left with it. But my shapes aren't too different. They're just from a different part of the lane.
I would tell Christine, if you have a bonus and you like that and you feel like you like it on the fresh, and maybe when you're moving in a little bit, you get to a spot where it's not going to strike enough because it's just not enough guts inside. Right. Then I think the knockout's going to be a good ball up when you get more on top of that oil.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I have with the bonus. I can play right with it, and if I got to move in, it still makes the turn, but it doesn't go.
It's going to make a turn, but you got all that burning off going on with that super strong cover.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's more the bonus is more of a tournament ball for me than it is
a
league ball. But for people that want to be further right, obviously, it's a great league ball.
For the bonus solid, I have one in my bag, and what I would tell you, Christine, is like I'm more on the higher rev rate side. But if I go to throw that bowling ball with that strong of a cover in league, I'm going to have to try to play him to the right. And the bowling ball is not real good through the pins. That's where I'm going to, a smoother cover that's not going to see the front part of the lane quite as much for me and not dig in as much because I'm suffering entry angle when that happens. I need to throw, even though that ball is a lower differential and a stronger cover, it needs some meat in the front part of the lane for me. That way I can feel, because I want to use that ball when I can keep my angles more in front of me and not giving the pocket away a ton. Similar to other strong, symmetric solids like a Hammer Fugitive or, a Hero solid, where, I want to actually play a little further to the right. There's a time and a place for it. Paul Bryan is on here. Paul, we should have you on here to do a riff for us. We should bring him in, but I hope you're doing well, Paul. Haven't seen you for a while, brother. Oh, look at this. One of your partners showed up in here. She's kind of working. She does, she's doing Instacart today. She likes to deliver groceries to people and they pay her to do it, which is ridiculous, but it's good. Do you prefer bowling in a team aspect or singles?
I can tell you my attitude's better when I bowl a team. I'm allowed bowling singles to bring myself down and to motivate myself with negativity. But in a team atmosphere, I actually have a much better attitude, even if I'm not bowling well. I try to help people, and I try to stay positive. I think that's very important. Gracie, quit chewing on the tablet. But yeah, I mean, it all depends. I mean, we like to go to I was actually going to ask you guys. We like to go to the team tournament in Schenectady. It's every weekend through the end of January. And, we have a good time. We take a couple teams off, and then you got to switch out 2 on each side, and you just, switch out teams. And it's a good time. I mean, the pattern is actually, it's not hard, but it's not easy. It's tricky enough to keep you honest.
Nice.
I actually do like bowling the team aspect. I think it's fun to try to get, 3, 4, 5 guys together and bowl good, and you can kind of get on the wave and throw some scores just because you're motivating each other.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, we all got to bowl together, this past year in a team tournament. It was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. They even let me anchor once. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to anchor with
we were stuck.
I happened to have the okay ball reaction at the time, but it's a fun environment. I think it's pretty cool when you get the feed off of others. Ryan's saying it keeps him in check. I maybe for myself, I'd say the same thing because I'm pretty hard on myself. But when you get into a team environment, you can't let your teammates see you down. So you tend to, I think, kind of pick yourself up a little bit and just stay in the moment with them so you're not pulling others down with you as well. Because you know what? Your other partners you're bowling with, especially in a team, they may be pulling you through this game, and the next game you turn around and you're picking them up. I mean, it's a game of swings. We all know that. And, you mentioned topography earlier. It's no different. We might go to the next pair when we move, and our ball shapes absolutely perfectly on that pair because of our style, and our partners doesn't. Joey could say the last, this past weekend, he may not like team bowling, but it really matters who you bowl with too, because Joey's going to blame his performances this past weekend because he crossed with Carrie and me, and he says we never bowl good together.
Never.
Which in a singles portion, he's not saying in a team, but he's saying, we have 3 such distinctly different styles that when we get on a pair of lanes,
not all 3 are going to be great at the same time ever.
Right.
So,
and when I say I'm trying to stay right with Joe, I'm still an arrow left of him.
Right.
In my head, I'm right there with him, but they made it tough. So we've made a point. We're friends, but we're going into the weekend. There's 3 events, and we asked the tournament director, like, I know you all think we like to bowl together, so just put him as far away from me as possible, and we'll go from there. So hopefully we'll come out with a couple W's after the weekend. But I think what Ryan was going to ask us to come to Schenectady and bowl, so you probably just ruined that. He said he likes team bowl and likes to switch in and out.
We can put him on the other team.
That makes perfect sense to me.
You can only have 2 PBA guys on one team at a time, so we'd have
how
to
about PBA girls? PBA girls, okay?
No, they're the same. They're the same as us.
Yeah.
Same as us.
That's good. A couple other ones that came here. Bill Poirier on here. Happy holidays. Ryan Shafer is a great dude. Glad he asked you to bowl this weekend. What are we going here? Even though I suck. That sounds like a Ryan comment when he's not bowling well. Even though I suck, even though we know he's great.
We bowled on 19 and 20 up there at Town Bowling Academy, and the rack on 20 wasn't the best. But the amazing part is, like, on this pattern, they're just touchy enough in the beginning. It's like they play real tight to the right for like the first. I mean, you only get 8 minutes of practice on old 8230s, and you don't get a lot of shots. I mean, I think I got 6 shots. So you're not loose, and they're a little tight to the right. And then all of a sudden, like after 5 or 6 frames, it opens right up. And, if you're doing the right thing, then you can strike. But I think if you haven't bowled enough on that pattern, you get lost trying to find it. And you almost have to be like the guys used to be on tour. They weren't trying to play the lane. They were waiting for it to come to them. And you got to kind of stay clean and wait for it to come to you, and then it opens right up. I mean, it's kind of odd.
Yeah, you don't. We kind of chuckled a little bit when you said about 30s. You don't get a lot of shots, but it's Joe yesterday. He's into my place practicing, and obviously I have 30s. I have an old center, and he said, when you're practicing, like you're in for a practice session, it's nice because they are slow because it paces you. But when you're when you're trying to get shots in to literally warm up in order to bowl for score, it's way different. Plus, I make them wait longer in my center. Like, I don't feel like going down cleaning a jam up. So make sure that it's, distributors pass the head pin and then go. Yeah, you see them go to the bottom.
And I don't sweat because I bowled 4 hours. I didn't even break a sweat in this place.
That's from that. That's that fantasy dehumidifier I have running in there. That thing is amazing. But
it is very amazing.
A couple more questions. Greg Tech, what are you bowling this weekend? Greg, we are bowling basically in Baltimore all weekend. We'll bowl at a country club on Friday. And then the Rhines brothers are running 2 events. There's a pattern on short at Forest Hill, Maryland, with an old site for regionals, and then they're running London, I believe, on Sunday. So
you're going to
bowl
Ryan?
34 to 44.
Where?
Forest Hill.
Yeah, I won there.
Yeah,
that was a good region. $5,000.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, has he ever won there? I mean, he has 32 different titles to win from in the region.
How many times did you win there?
Just the one. Just the one.
So did you, based on where that is, when you won that title, Ryan, was Timmy Chris still bowling? How long ago was this?
Yeah, Timmy was there.
Did you beat Timmy Chris in the final? Because I would have felt like that's his home center, right?
I can't remember who I beat. I won by a lot, I think, that particular one.
How many times have you won a title against Joe Pelusic in the regions?
A few.
I think he's won a couple.
See,
2 titles, I think.
I'm Joe Pelusic's Norm Duke. How's that?
Yes. Elf on the shelf over there.
Yeah, it's okay. Here I am trying to roast on him, but you guys are actually in the title match. I'm the guy in the back that's either holding Carrie's purse and trying to help her, or just like, good shot, guys.
Well, when I beat Joe, you were holding the trophy because
Cedar.
Lebanon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted that crystal.
I wanted that crystal.
He'd always come in and talk about the crystal pin every year. He's like, "Man, I want that. I want that." I was like, "Well, I've had
3 of them from there."
Yeah, it's craziness.
Jerk.
But Robert Fusick. So, what do you guys think happens this year for regionals? Do you think we get more than 6? Yeah, I think we do, Robert. I think that there's a change. I think going a little bit in the PBA. I think it's more national events with the Bolero back stuff. But they did step in for us last year. I mean, we had next to nothing. And, whether we love the Bolero centers or, the offerings and stuff, they stepped up and gave us, some events to bowl. I hope that, we see all regular events. I'm not taking anything away from people, but I'd like to see the schedule have 0 non-champs events. I'm a non-champ and I don't bowl them. I don't think it's right. I think the dues that we're paying as members need to go into a professional-based tournament for members. And, I want to see some of those go away. I know they're less for the proprietors, so, I get it. But I think Bolero is going to step in and do the right thing. I think they're trying to offer us more to bowl. Look at the Players' Championship. I know it's on the national standpoint, but you got $1 million purse. I mean, when's the last time we bowled for $1 million anywhere? No matter how the regions look, whether we agree with it or anything, it's TOC.
Yeah, when we bowled the one in Red Rock.
Yeah,
Mika won the 2 and got a ball named after him, right? 250K.
Yeah, and Doherty had 100.
Yeah. So good.
I wanted him to chop the 610 so bad. I liked Tom, but I wanted him to have 99. I really did.
Yeah, 99's never getting beat. 100,
Yeah, and Robert, it depends where you're looking at as well. I mean, regionals. I mean, there are some available. All of us that are on this feed right now, we're going to go to Ohio and bowl. If it's close enough for us to drive, we're going to branch out and go where we can go, where there's offerings. So we saw an over/under come up, and all of us were like, "Let's go bowl." We're going to drive up to Cuyahoga Falls. It's not that bad for us. It's like Cleveland. It's probably 4.5, maybe 5 tops. So. I'd ask
Carrie and I got to keep our perfect record going.
Yeah, so she's going to be the freshest of all of us, Ryan, just so you know, because she is going to miss practice day. I don't know if she told you. But she doesn't, she doesn't really care for practice days, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to work because she's just going to be getting home from Texas from the 3 tournaments. She knows she's going to be sharp. And flights are $49, I think, from Baltimore to Cleveland. Yeah. So she's going to fly up and meet us after work, and I'll go pick her up. So she'll be fresh and ready to go in the next day.
Trinisky and me are ready to break out. Okay,
it's not Millsboro. You might have a chance. It's not Millsboro.
That's true. That's true.
So Bradley's popping in here, and Bradley's he's a troll. He's a troll all the time. So he says I never put his comments up. So go ahead, Joe. What is your opinion on two-handed bowling?
What is that? I don't even know what you're talking about. I only know this bowling that's been around for the last century, where you put your fingers and your thumb in.
Yeah.
And I like that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Getting back to answering Fusik's question about regionals. Yeah. I know the proprietor where my shop's at, he wanted to have the senior regional that disappeared that was at Rossi's. He wants to take that over in March. Ross also offered him a regular regional in July.
Nice.
So hopefully that comes through.
Cool.
Because I talk about the topography in the center and, it's tough pair to pair, but it's a great town to have a regional. There's lots of restaurants, lots of hotels, easy to get to. It's a nice, clean center, good staff.
Kind of approach they got there.
We've been there.
There would.
Wood, right?
Yeah, there would.
The Crystal quite a bit.
Wood approaches HPL lanes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect. 32 lanes, perfect.
I didn't know
pink gutters.
Yeah,
pink gutters. Yeah, that's what I remember about the play.
The reddish pink. Yeah.
No, that's pink. The pink gutters.
So hopefully that happens. Hopefully I can talk him into that.
Good.
Yeah. The last place I think I saw pink gutters was the original ABC East before it burned down. Had the pink gutters as well. Crystal being the other one, but I like that venue. I'm trying to think what tournament do we used to bowl up there all the time.
There was a Simmons Rockwell.
The Rockwell Simmons one is we used to get up there every once in a while for. So it is a nice area up there. It's a nice little drive up there as well. It's not too bad. There is Ben Ryan's popping in here. Ben, how you doing, buddy? We did plug your events this weekend, so hopefully you guys are shaping up. Just make sure that the bar is stocked because it is a holiday weekend here, and my swing only gets good once I have a few in me. So I got to find a way to have Russ allow me to drink while I'm competing, and then I should be good.
Okay.
I think Russ will go for it.
Yeah, yes, Patrick.
I missed any other ones up here. What did Terry Mize say? They just posted one close to Buffalo in March, I believe, today. Regional?
Yeah, there was one listed in Buffalo last week, and then it went back off the site. If he's saying it's back on there, that was supposed to be in March as well.
I didn't.
Airport Lanes. I think it was Airport Lanes.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with the place. I didn't really take a real close look at the schedule for the upcoming year, but obviously there's a lot of uncertainty with it too. I mean, vaccinations are coming out and all the different regulations in the states and stuff. I mean, I don't envy, Russ and the team and the PBA, trying to put together stuff right now because it's like a moving target and throwing a dart trying to figure out what restriction is going to be where, each week that you're going to. Unfortunately, we've been entered in a ton of tournaments that we turn around and are scheduled or moved. I mean, look at the Masters just got moved. Masters just moved to Reno. It's within the same state. I think the intention there is that they can get a little more people into the stadium. I looked at the protocols there. It's not a quarantine thing, anything like that. But hopefully, March is not as far away as we think, and hopefully, it does take place. And, one thing yesterday, Joe and I jumped on, we're booking flights. Because right now, if you need flights somewhere, buy them now. Because just, those travel credits just roll over. So getting to Reno for $140 is a lot better than normal. Because it's expensive to fly to Reno from where we live. Expensive. Because there's no direct flights from where we're at unless we go up to like JFK. And that's way out of the way. Yeah, Brad, Brad said, sad, thought I'd see you guys during the Masters. We thought we were going to see you this Christmas week too when you said you were going to visit while you were home, but that didn't happen, Brad. So have to go around that one. Any other ones here we missed? An event was just put up Facebook Sunday night with the event. Okay. So it does sound like that Buffalo thing's probably happening. So we'll have to check that out.
Good.
Which is,
that's Limpus season normally, but there's no Limpus anymore. So
yeah,
that's good.
That's Joe's pinnacle of his career. I think he has 19 titles at the Olympus. Pretty crazy. We sit here. I say this crap all the time. We're on these feeds. It's so easy to talk about bowling and just, in general and stuff. And we get, 45, 50 minutes into a feed. People love, talking about it. But, Ryan, outside of maybe some of the events we just talked about, I mean, what else is maybe on your horizon or your schedule kind of moving into the new year here? Events maybe you're looking forward to, or I don't know what the senior schedule looks like.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how that looks either. Obviously, the Players Championship Regional there in Virginia. I'm going to bowl the U.S. Open. I got a direct entry, so I don't have to bowl.
You're one of those guys, one of those good bowlers.
I don't know how that happened. It can't be too difficult to be in the top 75 if I was in it, just bowling less than half the events. So
I think it's hard.
But, we talk about you got to pick my 10 bowling balls. You got to pick my 10 bowling balls for me because I have a mental block with that. Yeah. I want to choose 30 and I get 10. So, as far as the senior tour, I don't know. Hopefully they fix that. Last year we lost our entire schedule. They tried to do a World Series type thing at the Villages in August, and that didn't go because they started to spike down there. But I'm old. I mean, that's the main way I earn my living now. I hit and run on the regular tour places I like to bowl. I hope Indianapolis has a tournament this year because I like to bowl there.
Have fun.
There's just certain spots I like to bowl, and other spots I don't think I have a chance anymore. I know Joe likes the Masters. I don't care for the Masters. There's just a couple things I don't like the speed bump. I don't like the 5 on a pair. I don't like the left goes left, right goes right. Yeah. I don't like a 5-game block. You just get going and then you got to stop. There's just certain things about that tournament. I love the head-to-head matches. If you make a match,
once you get into the tournament, it's a fun tournament. Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's fun. Hard. If it's fun if you limp in, but if you're the guy that ran him over in qualifying and the total pins leader, it's not fun when you get into match play. Yeah, it's how often do we see the top seed lose? I mean, it's
there's just certain things I don't like about it. So
it's a lucky tournament.
But I got a weekend tournament coming up here at Home House. There used to be a New Year's Day tournament every year at Rossi Lanes. Rossi Lanes closed, pandemic.
I did hear that. Yeah.
So we're having January 2nd. We're having a tournament, 1,600 for first.
Nice.
So that's a event to look forward to because I don't have to go anywhere for that. All my balls are in the pro shop. Just drag them out.
You can have 30. You can have 30.
That's right.
And a wall full of additional ones if you need it.
Yeah.
But. Looks like your buddy Howie jumped in. Howie, how you doing, man? Glad you jumped on the feed here. That's a long-term partner of Ryan for sure.
Was.
Yeah.
Still is.
Okay.
He's got he's in a tough situation because, he bowls. He's cashed a couple times, and so he's got to join.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, like I told him, do you want to join and then have there only be 3 regionals? And then we miss out bowling a bunch of over-unders during this time period where we make a lot of money on the weekends, because they don't allow 2 members to bowl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to kind of weigh that,
Yep.
And, I love bowling with Howie. I mean, we make a pretty good team. Kerry and I make a pretty good team too. But, you got to look out for makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to bowl one tournament and try to win it and then cost yourself 5 or 6 tournaments where you're, there's brackets and there's all kinds of stuff, I mean, so hopefully when the schedule comes out, if the schedule's decent, he can join and we'll have to figure out what we're doing in over-unders, but,
good.
But, he's definitely good enough to be a member. I mean, it's
absolutely. I'm a member and Howie's way better than I am. So it is what it is. But my partner just jumped in. If you just saw that, Robert Leonard, we're going to get our first over-under experience together up in Cuyahoga Falls. I'm looking forward to that one.
Good luck, Bob.
You'll be in good shape. Don't worry. I'm actually going to practice today. I had good intentions. It's hard when you own a bowling center and you still don't bowl. But I've been doing a lot more of that myself. We're not on here to talk about myself, but it's pretty good right now. Well, a lot of good strides, and I drilled up a new spare ball that hits stuff, so that's cool.
It helps. It does. It definitely helps.
Yeah, I did an experiment, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody's spare ball or anything, but for a while I was using a hammer tough, and it's like a polythene. It's not really urethane. It is a plastic, but I did some shots at the center the other day, and really realized when I tried to roll the tough, the bowling ball acted like a urethane ball. Like it was making me physically pull it down and try to throw it a little harder to keep it on line. Go to a regular standard plastic ball, yeah, they might not be as durable, but it hits stuff. I mean, you know, I don't have to pull it from the top and roll stuff. I mean, it's amazing. You just got to, for any player out there, you got to put the time in to figure out where the, you know, if you're having deficiencies or you're struggling with something, to really put in the effort to understand why. So that was a big one. And then it was like it made him drill another one, and now Perry wants a spare ball. So you know, it's
was that
like
the Phil and Mo ball you drilled?
Yeah, I drilled the Phil Mo ball
Mhm.
and used it on 7 mils yesterday and bowled for 4 hours and didn't move my feet for 4 hours of bowling by myself.
Well, I've been having a hard time finding a ball to shoot at left side spares. I mean, you know, I spin the crap out of it as spare. I mean, let's be realistic. So if I bow on a longer pattern, I can't throw plastic at left side spares. It's going to back off. I don't care what Walter Ray says. It's going to back off and miss it right. Walter Ray says it's physically impossible. He's wrong. I've seen it happen. Okay. So I'll use my plastic ball at 10 pins, but left side spares, unless I'm bowling on a short pattern, I need a different ball. So I was throwing the True Motion for a while, and you know, if I missed it off my hand a little bit, it did the same thing. And then if I went right at it, it would hook early, and then hook on the end. I miss it. So then I started hooking the ball at left side spares, and at first it was okay. And then I started missing it. I couldn't pick a 4-pin. I looked like a moron. I mean, it was ridiculous. I couldn't pick a 4-pin. So surprisingly enough, I had a U Motion sitting there, and I took it and I went 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. It's shiny. I was surprised it shined up that much. We got a left side spare ball.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Yeah. It doesn't quite match the barbed wire from years ago.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that's the answer right there. But that's cool.
Don't be afraid to hit those urethane balls with turtle wax too, like legitimately turtle wax. They will shine.
Personally, you couldn't pay me to use a urethane ball to shoot spares because they skid the least of anything in the front of the lane. They hook early, and they just, you know, I don't want to see my ball. I'd rather see it slide and like you said, back off. And if I miss it, I missed it because I missed the shot. But I literally laugh at people that try to shoot 10 pins with like these purple hammers and stuff, and you know they hit the 3-pin. And no, I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, it looked like you trying to throw it on that 7 mil pattern yesterday.
Oh, I threw it.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this purple hammer once
one
at
ball.
I glanced back and the thing went runaway
20 feet, looked fine.
Hitting a 2-pin on the left side.
Missed the 2-pin.
Yeah.
Hit the 4-7.
Even better.
Yeah, but the plastic ball looked like a normal bowling ball. It's just the environment. It's I didn't even have to. I never wiped my ball 4 hours of bowling. I didn't even wipe it with a towel.
Wow.
And the ball didn't get chewed up from the wood or anything. It looks like I didn't even use it. It's amazing the difference in the environments.
Hey, Bill wants to know if LeClaire ever got back to you for calling him out yesterday.
No, he dodged him because he's the Dodge champion. That's what happened.
Bradley asking, we'll take a couple more questions here. You know, Bradley wants to know. So I guess he's asking you this, Ryan. You know, so do you take 2 different spare balls then for a tournament? So like, you legitimately like 2 balls in your bag. One's basically left side spares and the other's right.
Yeah, if I don't have a limit. I mean,
yeah,
that's part of the problem at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think that's where his question is. What do you? I mean, what would you do then?
I'd have to make the plastic ball work, and probably I would have a 2-inch pin ball in my bag, and probably use that
on the left side
for if I had to.
Smart.
All right. Let's see. Jimmy Pitts. I can't pick a 4-pin, a 10-pin, a 7-pin, 6-10. I 99% of the time. Jimmy, try the reset button. Don't worry about other balls.
He's the worst at the 6-10 in the history of the game. It doesn't matter what he does. He chops the 6 off of it. Hooks it, throws it straight. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I feel for you, Jimmy.
Yeah. I understand it all too well. What the heck did I shoot out the other day in practice and took it off? So 3-6?
3-6, 10.
3, yeah, no, it was just the 3-6. 3-6 in practice. We're warming up with a new spare ball. I blow the 3 straight back off of it. I'm like, lovely. So I leave it like the 3rd frame of the first game. I blew the 3-pin the same way. It's like, that's consistency right there. Exactly. You know, off my hand, I'm like, son of a bitch. That's going straight back. Yeah.
Jimmy chops the 6 off the 10 like it's his job. I mean, it's just automatic. It's unbelievable.
But crazy. All right, Bradley, we'll give you one more here, and I think we'll start our closing remarks here. But still curious about Galaxy Bowl. I used to sponsor my dad's race car. I think he's Galaxy Bowl. Did you say it was in Wilmington, Bradley? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that center. PVC piping as bumpers. That's pretty cool. It's different, but we'll see if he answers that. But I think it's a good point for us too. I mean, we obviously enjoyed the conversation. All of us can talk bowling for hours. We love it. We hate it sometimes too, but we try to wear our smiling faces no matter what. But we really do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, Ryan. Here, I know you got to work the shop a little bit, and you got to bowl your league you've been looking forward to all day tonight. Yeah. And hopefully, one of the 30 balls in the shop can give you 9 or better for 95% of the time. 18. So we'll be expecting to see either 8:30 or 6:30. So we're not going to go in that middle of the realm there. It sounds like that's what we're anticipating here. But as always, Ryan, we really do appreciate your time, your friendship, and all through the years. You're one of those guys out there that I would say is a true professional day in and day out. Ryan's been good to me since I met the guy, and he didn't have to be, right? He's, dedicated time way back in the day. And here we are today, a few years later, and we're on here talking about bowling balls and still doing the same thing. So I think Ryan deserves a lot of credit in this industry from what he's done, what he continues to do, and just how good his career has actually been. You heard some of those stats that are on there. Sore subject, but Ryan, Tom Clark, come on my feed one time. We need to talk about getting Ryan into the Hall of Fame because your rule's ridiculous.
The categories.
The cat. Hold on a second.
The categories.
The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. When you make 56 shows and win 32 regionals and 5 national titles, you belong to PBA Hall of Fame. Yeah. End of story. But we'll get to that point at some time in our lives. But the one thing we do like to do before we get off air, Ryan, is right now, we do realize it's a tough time for bowling in multiple states. We can't bowl and what's going on. If you're somewhere that you can support bowling, please go out and support those proprietors. Support the pro shops that are able to operate. Ryan said he's open today at 4:30. Make sure you stop by and see him. We'll be in this evening here in my shop here on the retail side from 5 to 8. If you can, league bowlers, especially people that are on here watching our feed. Sometimes we're not the best at doing open play or practicing. Right now, these proprietors need us. So let's all come together and do our part and bowl some extra games. Do what you can for your local bowling centers to support them through the tough times. And bowling will be back stronger than ever. I truly believe that. And like anything else, if there's any questions that any one of us that have been on this feed today can answer for you, you can easily find us all on Facebook, some other handles in that, and reach out. We're glad to help, and we just want to see this game grow. And by all means, from all of us right here, buy Brunswick. Brands of Brunswick bowling balls, best in the business.
Only the best. But
all right, Ryan. Anything else on your end before we cut you loose for the day?
No. The one thing I do want to say is, Jeff, you have pure at bowling, and you've been doing it a long time. Even when I was on another ball staff and we bowled in Lebanon, it was unbelievable the influence I saw you have on that community and how you backed the Brunswick brand and you got balls in people's hands and they were successful with it. And you've continued that in your new location. You've helped me when I've had some struggles. I've asked your advice. You helped me with thumb pitch. You helped me with drillings. You helped me with surface. And I just want to say I appreciate it. And if anybody listening on here needs some advice or needs some help or needs a ball, take the time and go visit Jeff. He does a great job, and he's one of the best out there.
Awesome. Appreciate the
and
words.
Joe as well. I mean, Joe has a pro shop.
He's one?
Joe's great too. I asked Joe's opinion on some things too, and he does a great job as well. And they can both use the business, and they're both better than 95% of the people in the industry. So
thank you.
Go out to Joe's shop and go to Jeff's shop and support them.
We appreciate it, man. Appreciate the time today. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Go out there, whack league tonight, get some wins over the weekend here, and we'll all get prepared to meet up in January.
Yep. Next year, it'll be a knockout.
It will be a knockout. All right, gang. Thanks for joining us today. Hit us up if you want to watch our videos. If you missed it or came on late, you can find us on Facebook. Make sure you go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button, and you'll get all the followings on it. So until the next time, everybody enjoy your holiday on New Year's. Be safe. Drink a ton of beer or whatever your alcoholic beverage is, but don't drive. If you need a ride, they
Oh.
Uber Joe right here.
Yeah.
That's
Lit.
but,
All right.
all right, gang. We really enjoyed it. Thanks, Ryan, and we'll see everybody soon. Take care
All
now.
good this weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you.